Hello everyone, my name is Garvin and I read things and chatter about them on the internet for your entertainment. So, some background here to Dick Month and the book reviews. I actually started writing book reviews on a blog, which will be linked in the description. In fact, on the blog is a written book review of the novel we're going to talk about today. As for Dick Month, well, the origin of that is a good friend of mine, when I was still just doing written work, suggested I devote a month to Philip K. Dick because, well, he's an insanely prolific author, and many of his works have been adapted to movies and television, meaning that they were very influential. The first Dick Month was in 2019, where I talked about Blade Runner. I reviewed the novel, the movie, and the sequel. And there's still a lot of material I can cover. That is, however, up to vote by my ever-wise patrons, whose ranks you can join for $1 a month, also linked in the description below. Today, however, we're looking at an obscure work of Philip K. Dick called Radio Free Albemuth. Even by the standards of Philip K. Dick, the backstory to this novel is weird. See, he wrote the book in 1976, but it wouldn't be published until 1985, 3 years after his death in 1982. I go on the details on that in the written book review linked below, but getting back to the novel itself, what happened is he wrote this story to wrestle with some events and, well, visions he had in 1974. And Mr. Dick was influenced on how he grappled with this by his friendship with the Episcopalian bishop James Albert Pike, who honestly may be a figure worthy of a video in his own right, given how controversial and colorful his life is. Yeah, just to give you some context, he was one of the first bishops to appear on American television. He publicly feuded with Senator McCarthy when McCarthy declared there were 7,000 pastors in bed with the Communist Party. He advocated for the ordainment of women. He called for the racial desegregation of churches and the acceptance of LGBTQ people into Christian churches in the early 1960s. He was also married 3 times, openly cheating on his second wife, was a recovering alcoholic known for his interests in psychics, and tried to contact the dead due to the suicide of his eldest sons, and was charged with heresy several times. So, this guy had let's call it a complicated life. Much like Mr. Philip K. Dick here. The reason I bring up the bishop is Radio Free Albemuth is a very spiritual novel. Its main conflict is internal, despite there being an external villain, or villains, I should say. It takes place in an alternate version of our world, like Man in the High Castle. In this world, the United States has become a totalitarian, oppressive police state with a semi-secret police force called Friends of the American People. That just kind of screams weirdness to me, honestly. The Friends of the American People constantly ask Americans to report on their friends, their families, and neighbors in service to President for Life, Ferris F. Fremont. Some of you may have noticed Ferris F. Fremont's initials add up to 666, F being the 6th letter of the alphabet. Sometimes Mr. Dick is not subtle. That said, the main struggle of our characters isn't against the oppressive government per se, but from falling into the temptation to serve this government and turn on each other for safety and material gain. There's also a very spiritual element here, as Nick, the main character, becomes progressively more enlightened to the true state of the universe through his contact with an otherworldly intelligence that is leading him to grasp greater truths both about himself and the world around him. This isn't something I consider very popular in mass media, the idea of characters primarily carrying on an internal struggle in winning through their refusal to be corrupted. Because the closest thing I can think of to this is Andor, and even then, the characters strike back externally. They have external victories. against the Empire. In this novel, the victory is mainly in refusing the corruption, but the price of that victory may be physical death or imprisonment. And it's a struggle that is all too common in human history, and sadly, it's one that way too many people have to carry out today. I honestly found the book a little too relevant for comfort, and if I can continue to be honest with you, I think maybe the struggle against oppression and giving into authority that offers material gain in exchange for your integrity and morality is something that's never going to stop being relevant, and that scares me a little bit. Now, I don't think most people would enjoy the book, but I do think a book like this, where the struggle is a matter of faith in the existence of right and good and a rejection of the temptation to do evil, is important, and I think it's something people need to read and think about, no matter what your spiritual beliefs are or aren't. So I would encourage everyone to at least give this book a try. If you'd like more details, like I said, I linked the written review below, and I hope you enjoy it. I am going to stop the video here, though, because in all honesty, I'm still a little worn out from the unapproved history of the Earth Alliance last week. That said, I hope all of you found this video informative, or at least entertaining. If so, please leave a like or comment, or consider subscribing. All of these help me in my eternal struggle against the dread Lord algorithm. Terror be on his name. Thank you for watching, and special thanks to Big Steve, my biggest supporter. Next week, we're going to talk about the movie that this book inspired, and I hope you'll join me. Until then, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and of course, keep reading.